Welcome to the Maverick Mindset Radio Show. I'm Adam Williams.
And I'm Ashley Muckinhaupt.
And this is the radio show for the dreamers and doers. It's for those who are willing to step into the arena.
Some call us the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers.
We don't accept the status quo. We leave the world better than we find it.
We approach each day with an enthusiasm unknown to mankind. We maintain a rational optimism about the future.
And this is the Maverick Mindset Radio Show, brought to you by me, Adam Williams. That's our new disclosure that apparently the FCC requires.
It's good.
Lawyers. Anyway, today, we've got a great show for you. We have a lot of exciting updates. We have new developments, plus 2 firsts for our show.
We've kicked off every episode letting people know where they can get more information. And today, we have an exciting development.
We can now be found. You like if you're watching the live stream, you see how excited I am.
Yeah.
We can now be found on 2 places on the internet. This is so exciting. So we continue to post and live stream on Facebook. The page is Maverick Mindset Radio, but now you can also find out more at maverickmindsetradio.com. So we're going to be posting our episode recaps. We're going to have these turned into podcasts so you can see the whole series or saga or whatever you want to call this that we're doing. We'll be accepting cues for Q&A and even selling a little bit of swag because we had some ideas after the last show. So it's a work in progress. We ask that if you like the show, then you share the show, post the live stream on your wall, share it with your friends, check out the website, and let your friends, let people that you care about know about the good stuff that we have going on. So I always appreciate when people share articles or podcasts with me that are relevant to my life.
Excellent. And our 2 new firsts on the show today. The first is that we are launching a new segment today. Today will be the first installment of Signs of the Downfall of Society.
It's a very light segment. Very light segment.
It is. And this is where we will take recent news story or happening and give a contrarian spin to it.
And our second first today is that we have our first guest ever.
That's right. Louis Geramita? I hope I said that right.
Geramita. Close enough.
Okay.
Better than most do.
Okay. I didn't butcher it too bad. From Primo Tailoring, and we will hear a little bit of his story, but we'll also ask him 5 hard-hitting questions that he did not get to see beforehand.
I'm really excited.
So excited
Yeah,
too.
let's do this. Let's welcome our first guest ever.
Welcome, Louis, to the Maverick Mindset Radio.
Thanks for having me.
Yay.
So here's what we're doing, Louis, and I told you this before the show. We've got 5 questions. They're hard-hitting. Well, the first one's a little soft, but we got to warm you up a little bit.
Perfect.
5 hard-hitting questions. We did not give these to you in advance. We're, in fact, never going to give them to our guests in advance, but that's the test. It's going to prove whether or not they listen to our show. So if they're blindsided by these questions, it shows that they're not real fans. We may not even get through the full 5 questions, but for you, we're going to give you the opportunity to answer all these before we kick you out of the studio.
Okay.
So let's start with an easy one. Name and business. Who are you? What do you do?
My name, Louis Geramita. I own Primo Tailoring, a men's shop down here on State Street.
Okay. So, 60 seconds for your backstory. Go.
Whew, there's a long backstory, but I originally come from Pittsburgh. I was in the construction trade, building houses, doing home improvement stuff. Didn't want to be...
This is a guy that I've seen wearing a tie 98% of the time that I've seen him.
Seeing him today, I'm like, that is not matching up with...
No, I know. A lot of people get shocked by it, but it actually worked hand in hand with getting into tailoring because I enjoyed working with my hands, and I never wanted to do anything behind a desk where I was just working on a computer or looking at screens. But I also didn't want to be in an industry where I needed a knee replacement by like my 35th birthday. So I moved out of that area and started looking for options in the menswear space because I didn't want to go to college and I didn't want to have to do something super competitive. I wanted to get in and kind of make a mark that way. And then tailoring kind of showed up on the table. I got in touch with somebody from my now mother-in-law who lived up here, moved up here about 8-9 years ago, and been here ever since.
So you started learning, like you literally learned how to sew. Like you were a tailor and needles and thread and sewing machines.
Yeah.
But now you're running more of a business and you've got people that work for you that do a lot of those services too, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Very cool. So right now, like give us an idea of what's going on in your business.
So what's going on right now is kind of a little bit of what you said. On the internal side, I'm working my way out of doing the actual day-to-day stuff, and we're trying to build a business that is a full service-based business. So we're not just focusing on the sewing. We're focusing on styling. We're focusing on retail. Any kind of way that we can eliminate the excuses for guys not to look their best, we're trying to figure out a way to tackle it. And right now, my job is, one, building a team, building employees, figuring out where they fit and how they can kind of add to our team's dynamic, and then using that talent to grow what we're trying to build.
But how's that going? I mean, you're talking about an industry that overall is not growing, right? Like fine menswear is not a growing market.
Yeah.
And it's not exactly a career that bunch of people are looking to jump into. So what are you doing to allow you to attract a team and people that want to work with you and do something that's pretty unconventional or lesser known, I guess?
So one of the things that have been super beneficial to us in finding the talent, which I did not consider this at the beginning, was having the social media presence. So now we have people who are really engaged in this industry, and people that you normally wouldn't be able to find very easily are now kind of coming to us asking how they can get into it. We can find people that are really good at what they're doing, and we're actually trying to find a way to maybe even transplant people here or set up different locations where they're already currently residing.
And that, that's really interesting, because we have the same thing in our business. I post a ton on social media, right?
Yeah.
And it's the good and bad, and it's the ups and downs, and it's business stuff, and it's personal stuff, and it's a lot of pictures of my wife's dog. And we get the same thing. We get messages from people that they're like, that next job post, I may not be qualified and I have no experience working in a business like yours, but I got to be a part of what you guys have going on. And then I say, all right, I'll call you on that, because here's our current 5 job openings that we have. Take a stab at it. But yeah, it's interesting when you're building. Like, what do you think that is? Do you think it's a brand? Do you think it's a culture? What is it about what you're posting that's attracting people to what you're doing?
Yeah, you can really call it whatever you want, but the way I look at it is I'm building a lifestyle people want to buy into. So a lot of my Instagram is supposed to be inspirational and inspiring people to want to live a similar, probably not the same lifestyle, but a similar lifestyle, and they're falling in love with that. Most people do call that branding, where you're just kind of portraying a message connected to your business. But yeah, we're just trying to sell the lifestyle of a slower life, a simpler life, but also a well-dressed life.
I love it. That's like the opposite of what so many influencers do too. Like,
100%.
Let me show you my cars and houses and fake pictures and the private jet and other stuff that I rented. And you're like, hey, let me show you this Italian-made tie that you're not going to find at other stores around here.
Yeah, we're obsessed with a slower lifestyle.
I don't hate that. Okay,
That's good.
You ready? Go for it, Ashley.
All
This is a
right.
big one.
Imagine you could have a panel of 3 people, dead or alive, to help you with your biggest decisions. Who would they be, and why would you choose them?
3 people, dead or alive, biggest decisions. Are we speaking strictly business?
Big decisions.
Yeah.
Marriage, kids,
Okay.
business, hiring, firing,
Sometimes
what kind
your
of car you're
personal
going to buy.
decisions impact your
Yeah.
business decisions. So
Absolutely.
whatever it is.
Ooh, that's a hard one. Okay.
Ooh, we stumped him.
No,
Yeah,
he's got a name in his head. He's afraid to say it.
No, I've got a name. Definitely Adam Williams for sure. on
Everybody's
that
going to
panel.
have to say that. Everybody's going to have to say that, right? Like,
No.
that's duh. Yeah.
No, I would probably actually go more of a spiritual route for this one.
Like
and I would
it.
probably bring someone from like the Apostle Paul, Solomon. That was like the wisest dude in the Bible, I'm pretty sure.
That's a good one.
I'd bring him out.
That's a deep cut.
Yes.
I'd bring him. There's one guy, I can't remember his name, and it's killing me. I really have been following a lot of Alex Hermozy's stuff.
Yep.
So I'd bring him in. He would be a really cool guy to get some.
He could use some style tips too. Like,
Well, I don't
Alex
think he'd
Hermozy,
take it.
I'm calling you out.
I would help, but I feel like he'd be a lost cause. No offense.
Oh, God.
But
No, offense,
love his stuff, though.
It is on brand for him. So for those of you who don't know Alex Hermozy, he's an influencer, he's an author, he's a mega business person.
Yeah.
I think he got to start helping launch and scale gyms. And he wears, for example, like really strappy sandals, and his argument is, I can do anything in these. I can wear them with pants and kind of dress it up. I can go to the gym if somebody invites me out on a boat. Like, these are the most versatile. They're basically an up level of Crocs. I make the same argument for Crocs. I can wear them anywhere. But his argument is I can wear these wherever I go. So the guy's super successful and appears to have a really good family life and gives a lot of great advice to people. But
well, and super side point, but that's exactly what we talk about. It doesn't need to be a suit and a tie. What you wear just needs to be intentional. And for him, that is very intentional. Yep. He thought through it, it works, and he likes it. So I can't knock him for that. I just don't think it looks the best. So for the last person, so this one, I don't even know.
We told you these were going to be hard.
Yeah. And I don't even know if I would have known if I would have been able to prepare for this.
Who do you go to for advice now? Like when you have questions, who's the first person you think of?
I just Google
You know
everything.
what? Google for the longest time was my doctor, so I get it.
Yeah. I still need a doctor.
Yeah, Dr. Google. Dr. Google can handle a lot. So yeah, very good. All right. So that's it. We went a little over on time for that because we didn't let you prepare for it.
Yeah.
So let's hop into the next one. This is a big one. You ready?
Oh gosh.
Have you ever hated anyone?
Can't say that I have.
It's a high threshold, right?
Yeah.
Like it takes a lot.
Yeah. I feel like that's I don't think there's anyone like you'd have to do a lot. And even then I don't know if I'd hate you. That's rough.
Okay.
To hate somebody. I
That's
don't think I ever have.
You're kind and forgiving,
Yeah.
which is probably what Solomon would recommend. You
Yeah, exactly.
That's good. All right, good one.
Okay. If you had to do it all over again, what would you do differently?
Wait, can I interject? How long have you been in business? Like when did you start?
May 2020. So this will be 4 years.
And like not a super great time to launch a business, especially brick and mortar retail.
Absolutely.
So we're coming up on 4 years.
4 years,
right?
yep.
Excellent. Okay. So
It's easy to keep track.
So you've learned some lessons in those 4 years.
Yep.
All right. So if you had to do it all over.
So if I had to do it all over again, the only thing I would do differently is probably do things quicker. Make decisions quicker.
Everybody I know
things.
needs to be writing that down
Yes.
right now. Speed and simplicity.
Yeah.
Love it.
I
All right,
would
go on.
definitely, and I mean, I think one of the things that did really help, because I tried starting a business for many years before that, but it was always just on the side. And I tried doing too much at one time. So the simplicity part is huge. And it's like finding your niche, doing it very well, and just doing things a lot quicker. Otherwise, everything else, I kind of look at it as led me to this point. So I'm not like upset with how it's gone. And in 4 years, I'm not very disappointed with where we're at. So I'm like, I'm okay.
So you really had to figure out what it was you wanted to do. Because all the other times you were just trying stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. So we were trying to do a lot on social media. We were doing consulting, sewing, all kinds of stuff. Just trying to throw an offer out there to see which one stuck, which was vital to figuring out which one stuck. And then we found out tailoring was super underutilized, but still in high demand. And then we just ran with it.
That's a great example. And that's, I mean, so actually, let's segue off of the list for a moment.
Okay.
So tonight you have an event at your space.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about this, and we're going to tell people where they can go for more information. But you talked about speed of implementation. I wish I had done it faster. And the event tonight is, what's it called?
Make your first 100K.
Yeah, how to make your first $100,000, right?
Yep.
So, and you have a fantastic teacher for this lesson.
Absolutely.
Me.
Best around.
Yeah. My favorite subject. But one of the lessons that we're going to talk about is speed of implementation and how most people sell their time for money. I'm going to go work for $15, $20, $25 an hour. Entrepreneurs, successful entrepreneurs, completely flip that. And they buy time with their money. They can always make more money, but they can never get more time back. So they buy speed of implementation. I had a call yesterday with a guy that I had never met before, but I had been acquainted with, and we need to start running ads for one of our businesses. And I said, how quickly can you get these up? Because the sooner we get them up, the sooner we can find out what's going to stick and what's going to work. And he said, if you run your credit card right now, we'll have these ads up and running in 72 hours.
Wow.
Let's go. And he said to me, I'll tell you what, Adam, do you know, like, good business person always asks for referrals. He said, do you know other people like you? I said, well, not enough, but what do you mean, right? And he said, people who just like jump into action. We met at 9:00 this morning, and by noon, my team is already at work on what you want to get done. He said, I love working with people like this. And I don't think everybody would. I think some people get thrown into a panic with the speed at which some of us operate. But on the other hand, it's a huge strength of successful entrepreneurs. So let's bring it back to the event tonight.
Yep.
What's the plan? What do we have going on with this thing, and where can people get more information?
Absolutely. So you can follow up on Eventbrite. You can find Primo Tailoring, the events on there. The link is, I think, on the social medias, the Facebook pages. I'll post another one today. But it's through Eventbrite is how you can get your tickets, and it's going to be right downtown at Primo.
I just put it in the comments on the live stream on Facebook also. So the Eventbrite link is there for anybody who wants to sign up. I'm really excited about this. It's not going to be a huge crowd. This isn't going to be 50 people, so we'll have time for some Q&A and questions, and I think some really personalized advice for the different people. I assume they're business owners, but the different people that are in there.
So we have a few. One person I don't know. The one guy, he has been running a business for a good bit, and the other one has just actually been recently talking to me about wanting to start a business, but he doesn't know where to start. This is going to be, I think, a really good opportunity for him.
So I think there's two benefits to it. Well, three. One, we're going to provide food.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Ooh,
but
nice.
But more importantly, like, yes, I will be up there teaching a lesson because you've learned your lessons in 4 years of business. I've been at this for 12 or 13 and have my share of mistakes. And I say life is too short to make all the mistakes on your own. But then the third piece of it is you're in a room with people who are thinking about things like this.
Yeah.
And that's like the I think the really undersold value of something like this is you're going to meet people who have a similar mindset. And we've talked about it on this show, how your friends and your peer group and your family can really hold you back from achieving your goals. So get into rooms with people like this. So that's great. We got the link in the Facebook live stream. That event is tonight. What doors open? What time?
5:30. That's when we officially close. So we'll just be accepting people right in.
And now, on a really sensitive subject for me, I saw you over the weekend at like the outdoor market. Very risky for Copper Carriage to put on an outdoor market in April in Erie, but the weather was perfect.
Beautiful.
And you and I had an encounter with each other.
Yeah.
And I learned a valuable business lesson that we'll save for another show. But they had a wooden propeller in their booth. Copper Carriage did. And it was beautiful. It was restored. It had the serial numbers on it. It was made in Lititz, PA, which is kind of local, kind of cool, right? This thing's beautiful. I see it hanging up there, and like I'm an aviation guy, right? So I actually got to the point where I took it down off the shelf and held it up next to me to see how tall it was, and I said, "Yeah, that'll fit in my house." And I said, "I'll think about it," and I left, and I went and got a cup of coffee, and I actually saw the owner of Copper Carriage at the coffee shop, and she said, "Do you want me to bubble wrap it for you?" I said, "Yep, I've made my decision. I'm going to do it." The whole time I knew you were interested in this thing.
Oh, no.
By the time I walked from the coffee shop back to the booth, Lewis is standing in the booth, and I'm like, I have one of those metal American Express credit cards. I'm like throwing it like a ninja star.
Yeah, he almost hit me right in the throat.
And then this little kid says, "Oh, were you going to buy this? You can have it for $7,000." And it was a couple $100, right?
Yeah.
So he bought it out from under me.
Oh, you actually bought it.
So
I did buy
so
it.
the question
Going to the
is,
shop.
at 5:30 tonight, will people be able to see the propeller hanging on the wall?
It'll be there. I show it to everybody who walks in.
It'll be
They're
there.
like, "What's new?" And they're talking about clothes, and I'm like, "I got a propeller," and I walk over to
How
it.
did you? I mean, it was bubble wrap for him. How did you?
It wasn't bubble wrapped yet. This was literally a 3-minute window
Were
where
you
I
staking
hesitated.
it out? Did you see him walk? Wait, were you?
No, so I had walked up before him, and I saw it, and I was like, "Oh, I really like that." And and the owner was talking to me about it, and I was like, "You know what? I'll wait till after the event. If it hasn't sold, I'll come back and get it." So I was just walking back to see if it was still there.
Oh,
it was
man.
there, and I was like, "Okay, I guess I'll take it." And then right around the corner, I see Adam. I haven't seen him run that quick. And I was like, "Oh gosh, he's coming right for me." And I was like, "Dude, it's done. It's sold."
Oh,
Then-
man.
And I brag about my ability to make quick decisions. And I
Yeah.
brag about my
Yes.
ability to make good, like I
Yes.
really attribute a lot of my success to that. And here I am hesitating, and now I'm going to have to stare at this propeller, this beautiful propeller hanging on the wall. So it'll be there at the beginning of the event.
Lesson
Yeah.
learned.
No event,
Absolutely.
Right?
no guarantee about the end.
You'll
of it.
never do that again.
All right, love it. Okay, next question. We got
Okay.
2 left.
Okay, cool.
What keeps you up at night?
What keeps me up at night? Not a lot.
Yeah, your puppy is now a full-grown dog.
Yes, he's a puppy. Soon we probably will be kept up quite a bit at night. But not much. The things that keep me up at night are just the things I'm working on. So like if there's like a big project and I'm like, okay, how do I solve this problem? And I haven't solved it yet. I'm just thinking about how to solve it that night. Also like super random stuff. Like how does this this implication match into like with the whole world system? But whatever. Nothing that actually matters.
Nothing light.
Yes, exactly. It's like same stuff I think of when I'm taking a shower, like groundbreaking stuff.
Didn't you say your best ideas are in the shower?
Yeah.
Yeah. I have the best conversations with myself there. But no, nothing
If you don't have some sort of voice activated note taking system while you're in the shower, you're missing out on opportunity.
Middle of the night, right? Because you'll wake up in the middle of the night in the shower.
Did I tell you about what I'm doing for my middle of the night ideas?
Yes.
So I went on Amazon and I bought light up pens.
That's pretty sick.
So I don't have to turn on the light and blow up the whole room and throw off my sleep cycle. I can wake up, click the pen, and and it lights up.
Ooh, I love that. Because usually I grab my phone, but it's like that blue light messes with your sleep, 100%. And then you're awake again.
So I think we may actually. I have someone looking into getting Maverick Mindset Radio branded light up pens because I think when you have that idea.
Yes.
So all right. So what keeps you or what wakes you up at night is things that you're working on. But is this more? Is it out of fear or is it out of inspiration?
No, it's all out of inspiration.
Okay.
And it kind of goes back to the broader theme of like, there's not much in my business or in business at all that really scares me, because if it all went away tomorrow, I wouldn't be too worried about it. And I kind of operate with that mindset that like, if I lost it all, I still have exactly everything I need, and there's nothing more that I could need. So if I lost it, it's okay. So at this point, it's just kind of fun building it.
Here's my question. You're 4 years, right?
Yep.
What is it? 47 months, right?
Yeah.
If you did lose it all tomorrow, how long would it take you to build it back to where you are now?
I don't know, because I might just do something totally different. If I lost it today, I might just jump into a different field and try something new.
Wait.
Yeah.
We got our last question, which is that's going to be pretty good. Okay, so you're waking up with things that you're working on that you're excited about that inspire you. Man, that is strangely healthy for a young entrepreneur. So that's really exciting. That's really good. All right, last question.
What do you want to be doing? You're like, where? Who's asking?
Who's talking?
This?
Where's this coming from?
What do you want to be doing in 5 years?
Ooh. I would probably say, like, I'd like to be living on a big piece of land. That's the big thing. I want to be gardening. I want animals.
What kind of animals?
Chickens, goats would be cool.
Chickens and goats? All right. Solid.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I would be doing. I'd probably still what I'm doing now. It's just hopefully with less day-to-day work in the actual business and just kind of coming up with ideas, building things, and growing it.
Being fashionably dressed on the farm.
Absolutely. We're going to come out with a whole Western line.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's going to be beautiful.
Yeah. I can think of some like rugged menswear outdoors. I get the catalog.
Well, I think goats are like I would want to go if I had land. I'd want to go.
They're pretty cool, like the little ones.
Yeah.
All right. So can I tell you a funny story? So I was in Nashville in February, and I was there with someone I know who I've never met. We're friends on social media, tons of mutual friends. We both happened to be at this event, and so we went for a hike together in Nashville, and she has done a lot of mindset work. So we were talking about, and actually this actually reminded me of you. We were talking about the restaurants that we go to, and how when we used to go out to dinner, Chili's was awesome and Applebee's was super great.
Yes.
And I remember you at one point actually telling me that one of your goals was to, when you go out to dinner, not go anywhere on Peach Street.
Yeah.
Which is such a great way of framing it.
Yeah.
And for those who don't know, that's like the chain restaurant, like up and down the entire street. No offense to anybody who runs those restaurants, but there's something about them versus, the steakhouse that's 3 doors down from here that's a little bit different. So she was telling me about that. Like, remember when we used to go out to dinner? And also the difference of, I don't look at the price on the menu anymore, right? Like, I just order what I want because I don't really care where I go to dinner. Like, I can afford it, right? But there was a time in my life where it was like, oh my gosh, the fish tacos are $3 less than the fish fillet. I'm going with the tacos.
Right.
My parents still do that. And so we're driving around. She's telling me this story of how her taste in restaurants has elevated, and she's talking about these really great restaurants that she's been to. And I'm driving along in my rental car, and she goes, "Oh my God!" I said, "What?" Such a typical woman move, right?
Yes.
Guy's driving, woman freaks out in the passenger seat. All right, I'm gonna get angry emails about that. But she goes, "Look at those goats." So just as she's telling me about her up-leveling in restaurants, she goes, "Oh my God, look at those goats." And we look over and there's some goats on a hill. Yeah. And this woman has a goat farm in Georgia.
See?
She had actually driven to Washington State, I think, Washington or Oregon, to pick up these like really fancy high-end goats and drive them back to Georgia with her daughter in her truck. So just really funny that just as someone is telling me the story of how they're up leveling their life and their taste in restaurants, and
They get excited.
it's all, then they're like, oh my God, go, like had to interrupt the story for that. All right, Lewis, great stuff. Thank you very much.
Yes.
If people want more information about you, about your business, where do they go? What do they need
Absolutely. So you can find us, primotailoring.com. You can find me personally just about every social media at Aspiring Gent. That's my most active social media. But yeah, primo.com, primotailoring.com.
to know? Primotailoring.com. Love it. All right. Well, thank you for coming on today. Now it's time
It's time.
for our new segment, our brand new segment. What are we calling this?
What are we calling? This is the sign of the downfall of society.
Yeah, today's sign of the downfall
Yeah.
of society.
Yes.
Okay. And and here's where this originated. I have a little story to tell. Something happened to me recently, and I wanted to talk about it because it was really weighing on me. And then I saw this news article that came out in the Wall Street Journal that kind of related to it, and I had to talk about this because one of the things that we're about on this show is getting people to think about things differently.
Yes.
Right? So let me tell you the story. So last Thursday and Friday, we had our quarterly planning events for the businesses. So Thursday, Jackie and I got together and did a lot of personal planning, like because that comes first for us. So, what type of stuff do we want to be doing? What do we want to be working on? What are our priorities for the business? And then Friday, we went offsite with our leadership team and planned out our whole quarter. So we're now a quarter into the year. How did we do? How are we measuring up against the plan? So this was Thursday, Friday. And I thought it would be cool for Jackie and I to have like new journals to take notes on this stuff, right? And so I went to Barnes & Noble because it was kind of late at night. It was the only place I knew I could get this stuff. And I took my kids. And we walked around Barnes & Noble, and my son's looking at Lego, and Penny's looking at everything in the kids section. And I got these really nice journals that actually they were blank journals, but they had numbered pages, which was super cool.
Nice.
So you can go to the table of contents and say, oh, here's where brilliant idea number 7 is on page 22, right? So we're walking through Barnes & Noble, and we make our kids earn money. But my son, for example, earns way more money than most 13-year-olds do because he's really motivated by the stuff he can buy with money. I think that's genetic. So we're walking through Barnes & Noble, and Penny picks up 37 things. She's 6.5. And she said, can I get this book? And I said, yeah, the book's $10. You have $12. And her $12 is like this pink little lace drawstring bag full of quarters and dollar bills all crumpled up. So I said, yeah, you have $12. It's 10. You can get that. She goes, okay, can I get this stuffed animal? And it was $40. I said, no, you can't get that stuffed animal. It's $40. And even she was like, wow, $40 for this thing. No way.
Yeah.
So we're walking through the store, and then she picks up another stuffed animal, and it's a giraffe. And she said, can I get this? And I said, that's $20. So you don't have enough money for it. But if you want to go home, we can come up with a plan to earn the extra $8. You can buy this giraffe. She had a complete meltdown. So we're in the checkout. Like this is every parent's nightmare.
Yes.
I'm confident enough in my parenting choices that it doesn't really bother me. She is having an absolute meltdown over this giraffe. And I'm checking out, buying the stuff that we're buying. As Royce is asking the cashier, how much are the football cards that are behind there? And he's counting. No, I don't want them. Didn't want to spend the money on it. Penny's having this meltdown. I want the giraffe. I want the giraffe. So I check out. She gives me her $10 to buy the book. Royce then changes his mind and says, I'll take those football cards. And I turn around, and there's like 7 people in line now behind us. And I kind of giggle because like my family's, a little disruptive at the moment and a little distracting to the cashier. And then this woman behind me in line taps me on the shoulder, and she goes, how much is the giraffe? I said, that's not the point. She said, no, but I'll buy it. How much is the giraffe? Oh. I said, no. It's okay. Like it's $12. It costs 20. Or she only has $12. It costs 20.
Yeah.
Like it's not about the money.
Right.
Trust me. Right. I think in that moment, a lot of people would get really offended.
Yeah.
And like, I don't need your money. But I'm cool. Like that. This was a very kind, very generous thing that this woman offered. But we said no. And actually, what I usually tell my kids is not yet. Right. You want that? Great. Let's come up with a plan that you can get it. And that's how they can earn these things. And so the meltdown continues. We get in the car. First time she ever told me I'm the worst dad ever. You guys are giggling. This is one of those moments where like, as a parent, you want to keep the poker face, and I am laughing so hard.
No.
Royce is laughing so hard. So
Poor Penny.
then we kind of start messing with her. This is OCY is going to show up at my house now. Then we start messing with her because he goes, "What do you want, Penny?" And she goes, "I want the giraffe." And Royce said, "Who's your best friend?" "The giraffe." And I said, "Well, who's your worst enemy?" And she goes, "You are!" Right? She's screaming. So we get home, still having the meltdown. Jackie says, "Penny, you have like 5 giraffes upstairs." So they get another stuffed giraffe, and the thing blows over. But here's why. I really spent a lot of time thinking about this because what this woman did was very kind.
Yes.
That offer was very generous to spend. She doesn't even know, but she offered to pay for the giraffe, right? And here's the problem. Is what I'm trying to do with the way that I'm teaching my kids about money. And don't get me wrong, they're still well taken care of in many other regards. But the way that I'm trying to raise my kids is that they've got to earn this stuff and they've got to have a little bit of patience. And I've really been spending a lot of time, I don't know if ruminating is the word, but I've been thinking about this. And then April 3rd, which was maybe that day or a couple days later, I don't even remember. No, this would have been the same day. This would have been Wednesday. I saw this article 9 p.m. in the Wall Street Journal. So literally right after we got home. And this is, it's called The Big Work Lie. Being indispensable will save your job. That's the lie that they're perpetuating. And it's by Callum Borchers. You can find it on Wall Street Journal. In fact, I will put the link to the article in the comments section as well for those of you who have Wall Street Journal access. So we, you know what? There's a good comment in the thread here about you have to make an exception on Peach Street rule for Firestone's restaurant. Firestone's a really good restaurant.
It's so good.
And I bet when you told me that, Firestone's didn't exist there.
No,
so, thanks,
no,
Matt.
it did not.
That's a good comment there. So, all right, so let's get back to this article. So the idea is that the common career advice is make yourself indispensable, right? And this article is about 4 or 5 or 6 different people who thought they made themselves indispensable, but their companies got rid of them anyway for one reason or another. And we are, just to check in, because we're about halfway through the show right now, Maverick Mindset Radio,
yes,
live from downtown Erie, Pennsylvania, streaming on Facebook, Maverick Mindset Radio, talking about our today's sign of the downfall of society and how a woman tried to buy a stuffed animal for my daughter. And I got really fired up by this article because I see a lot of people who, and the sentiment is this, and it's actually cited in the article, act your wage.
Yeah.
And that drives me freaking crazy because, and I get it, I'm biased, I'm a business owner, and I have employees. But to say I'm not going to provide any additional effort,
right,
or I'm not going to add any extra value unless you immediately pay me more, I think is really immature.
Right.
I think it's really impatient. And I think it's drawing this line between business owner or management and employees that doesn't make a lot of sense. Like, you guys should be on the same team. And what happens is a lot of employees say, well, I'm doing the thing and I need immediate benefits for that.
Right.
But the difference with business owners is I'm patient. I'm really patient. I can spend a whole lot of time trying a whole bunch of things that most of which aren't going to work and then eventually get the rewards of that. But for some reason, you've got these people saying, well, I'm really, really, really important to this business, and you should never fire me, and you should pay me more. And it really bothered me because it perpetuates this conflict between management or ownership and employees that I think can be improved, and I think it's something that we try and improve. Yeah. So what were your thoughts on this thing?
Well, my thoughts were that people thinking that I'm doing what I'm doing, what I was hired for, and I'm doing it good enough, so I don't have to do anything else. So you need to reward me for what I'm doing. You need to give me what, and that's it. And God forbid if you were fired from that job, and then the employee turns around, but why? I did exactly what you asked me to do. Right, but what else did you do? Like, for me, it was that, what are you doing to not just be the best in your skill, in your field? What are you doing to help the business owner, the company as a whole, and your teammates to grow, right? Because in order to succeed and become successful, everybody has to be doing that together. So what are you doing to, the moment for, if you're not trying to do more, to help your teammates do more, then, and you're only in that mindset of I'm just doing what you're paying me to do, you're not growing. You're not.
But I'm okay with that. I'm okay with people showing up and saying, I'm doing only what you pay me to do. The problem is, it's when they aren't willing to suffer the consequences of having that attitude.
Yeah.
Right? Fine.
Yeah.
You want to do your job, I'll give you the paycheck. That is the fundamental nature of the employer-employee relationship. But
when they want more, when they want the giraffe.
You're going to be, you're going to be, exactly, when they want the giraffe, and I say, fine, you can have the giraffe, but here's what you have to do it.
Yes.
Suddenly, it's the worst day ever, and I'm the worst dad ever.
I've been doing what you've asked me to do. I'm indispensable in my field for you. Why can't you give me what I'm asking for?
Can I tell you another just stupid, ridiculous way that I was thinking about this? So we had the solar eclipse on Monday. We were in the path of totality, right? And about 3 minutes before that eclipse started, the clouds were covering the sky, right? And in fact, interfered with a lot of it, except the totality. Like, the skies opened up for that. It was really great. But I think the difference between an entrepreneur or a business owner and an employee is this. The entrepreneur says, I'm going to travel to Erie, Pennsylvania. I'm going to buy the hotel. I'm going to buy the glasses. I'm going to take time away from my business or family or whatever. And I'm going to show up, and I don't even know if I'm going to see this thing because the clouds may be in the way. And these employees that are saying, well, I think I'm indispensable, are the ones that are saying, yeah, I'll do the hotel and the glasses and the travel, but only if you guarantee me I'm actually going to see this once in a lifetime or once every 44 years event. And I think that's the big difference there. And I think that's what really bothered me about this is there's a difference between being good at your job or being good at one thing and being indispensable.
Yeah.
And I think that's what this article gets wrong. Plus, that for me, the word lie is really triggering because most people don't even know what a lie is. But I think for me that there's just a misunderstanding of, you may think you're indispensable because you work super hard or because you're really good at one thing, but unless you're on the same page with your employer, that may not even be what they're looking for. And that was what really set me
and
off.
I think when you read some of the stories in the article, and they're like, I made I did everything I could to be the best at my skill in this, and what did it matter? Like, I did everything the employer asked for my skill, and I still got let go. I still got, and it was like, okay, but what else did you do outside of that? Like, what were your goals, your opportunities that you were looking for outside of that, to just not just be comfortable in your skill, the only thing that you know. And I think it's sad because I think a lot of the generation that's coming up is like, I only want to do this. This is the only thing I'm going to do, and I'm not going to do anything more. And you're going to reward me for it. Like, it's what's the word I'm looking for? It's an expectation that they have. I'm not doing anything. Entitlement. Like, you ask them to do. I hope you don't get angry emails for this. You ask them to do more, and it's like,
well,
what?
let me tone it down a little bit. Again, I'm okay with that. If you are a bare minimum person, great.
Yeah.
You will get the bare minimum.
Yeah.
The problem is when you're a bare minimum person and expect more than that.
Yeah.
I can't pay my bills. I can't buy a house. I can't do this or that. Well, what are you doing about it?
Yeah.
Well, I show up every day at 8:59 and I leave at 5:01 and I'm mostly productive throughout the time that I'm there. Okay, but what? So this is what we've talked about in our business is like aligning our goals and making sure there's value there.
Yeah.
So what do you want? You want to buy a house? Great. Let's come up with a plan to do this.
Right.
Here's what I need you to do in the business to make that happen. This is the same thing that I do every single day in the business. I, Adam Williams, have bills to pay.
Yeah.
A big one for me is payroll. But mortgages, loan payments, whatever. Like, I go out every single day and find ways to make the money to pay for the things that I want and need. But then when you ask that of these employees who think they're being lied to about being indispensable, they're saying, well, I did the thing. I did the one thing, but I'm not going to learn or do anything beyond that. I'm going to blame you as the employer for letting me go. Now, let me also take a step back on that. Employers are partially at fault for this also, right? They're not, I don't want to say that they're perpetuating the lie, but, and this is going to come back to our action item of the day, are they actually having these conversations with their employees of what's the value that you're adding here and how can we help you accomplish your goals?
Yeah.
I think a really good example, we're seeing this now with layoffs in the tech sector. These big companies, Google, Apple, whoever, went out and hired like crazy during the pandemic because it was such a difficult market and they have the money. They're like, screw it, let's just beef up our bench here and bring a bunch of people on, except they didn't have anything for them to do. So it was like a recruiting play for them that they thought in the future, if they needed these qualified, talented people, great. But it turned out they didn't need them. And now a whole bunch of them are getting laid off. And who's the bad guy there?
Employer.
Well, it's Google for
Yeah.
laying people off. And again, they're partially at fault, but it's also on the employee for saying, I got it pretty good. I'm sitting here not adding a lot of value, not being super productive, and I got a pretty cushy job because it's Google and that's what they do. And then when they get, like, you can't be surprised when you get laid off from that. I don't think. I think you got to approach it a little differently. And we've had this. I've seen this two ways in our business. One is the employee who starts putting in the effort.
Yeah.
I always use the weight loss example. I've been to the gym 3 times. I'm not losing any weight. Okay, but this is about consistency.
Yes.
Like, the reward will come to you. If you want to be paid for your efforts now, fine. We can give you a little bump.
Right.
But if you want to share in the results, like if we become a team where we actually win together, and you want to share in the results and you can be a little bit patient, I guarantee you the results will be greater. But too many people don't have that patience.
No.
They don't. They say, well, I don't know that it's actually going to work out. I don't want to take that risk.
Right.
I do. That's why I'm your boss, and that's why I get to make these decisions.
Yep.
So I've seen that a lot with people who start putting in the work and want the results. The other way that I've seen this is we do a lot of work helping people buy and sell businesses.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the ways that we do that is helping like the manager take over for the employee, right?
Yep.
So you've got an employee who works for you that wants to take things over. And the vast majority of the time, the employee says something along the lines of, oh, well, this is going to be easy because I'm basically running the place now. And then they get in and take over and they go, oh my gosh, they had no idea. They completely overstated their own value because they are busy and there's a lot of value to running the day-to-day operations for a business like that. That requires a lot of work. But outside the day-to-day, when you're talking about strategy and you're talking about marketing and you're talking about sales and you're talking about finances and you're talking about taking a pen and signing your name on a bank document that says, I guarantee I will pay this money back.
Right.
I know you think you're actually running the place, but there's way more to that. So I think getting clear on what your value actually is to your employer is super important because guess what? If you work for a well-run business, that well-run business is doing the same calculus of how important are we to our customers? How much value do we add to our customers and how can we charge appropriately for that? It's the same math.
Yeah.
It's the same analysis of getting paid for the value that I provide. But for some reason, this employee mentality has become, well, if I put in the work, I should be guaranteed an outcome from this.
Right.
And this is why I believe some random woman trying to buy Penny Williams, a stuffed giraffe at Barnes & Noble, is today's sign of the downfall of society.
I mean, we appreciate it, but
It was super nice. That's the thing, right?
Yeah,
it was a
it
super
was.
nice, generous thing that I now have to put this negative spin on because she's
Yeah.
ruining my kids' lives
Yeah.
by trying to do that,
Yeah.
right? Thanks, lady. That's super kind. You know what else is really funny is having, and especially on the station that we're on, and having Lewis come in and talk about, who he would go to for advice. The first time I saw this woman in the store, she was in like the religious and Bible section, right? So she's clearly a very kind person who gets advice from generous people. But the other thing was, she also wasn't offended when I told her no, which I thought was, she could have been like, well, I'm trying to do something nice for you and you should just take it, which is such a common response too.
Yep.
But anyway, Lewis, any employees you want to complain about who are entitled and impatient with rewards that they want? Don't name names.
No, there's only 2 of them, so it'd be.
Oh yeah, they're both
don't
looking
think I
at each
should-
other right now.
Well, it's, you know what it is? It's your favorite employee is, my favorite employee of yours is Dill.
Yeah,
Your
he
Goldberg.
complains the most though.
Yeah, he's the most impatient.
Absolutely,
He's,
he is. Who
how
I
old is
complain
he?
about. He's 3.
The 3-year-old golden retriever.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
And when you walk in and he sits there and he looks at you with his puppy dog eyes, like, you better pet him immediately, otherwise
He'll
gonna be
jump on you.
consequences.
No,
Yeah.
but that is a good point because it's something that I'm learning now. Is like it's all about the mindset of the employee. Because even if you're indispensable, but you're a terrible fit for the culture,
Oh, yes.
you're gone.
Yep.
And I feel like, to me, it's like I'm making judgment calls on who you are as a person before I really care about how much you're producing. Because the producing part, I can teach you, we can send you through things. You can get, like, you need to have the motivation to start. But yeah, I don't care how good you are. If you don't fit and everybody's annoyed with you, you're going to go.
Adam said that to me during my interview, which, by the way, I think was almost 3 hours. But one of the things he said was, I can teach you. My I had applied to be an executive assistant. He goes, I can teach you everything you need to know to do this. I can't teach you to be the right fit. I can't teach you to
absolutely.
like you have to, that has to be there or it doesn't work. So you can have the best employees that can do their job the best out of anyone. But if they don't have the same mindset, if they're not trying to go to the same place, it's never going to work.
Yeah. And then the question I would have is, as a business owner, how do I make my employees feel valued and not like they're being taken advantage of for their extra hard
Great
work
question.
without
Great question.
showering them with things?
Great question. Yeah. Oh man. So what I love about that is like we have. All right. So there, you ever heard of the 5 love languages? So there's a 5 love languages for business, and the love language that I am least capable of providing to people is the one that the people I surround myself with need the most. I don't know what this is, but if your love language is words of affirmation,
Oh gosh.
don't come anywhere near me because
No,
you're not going to get
getting
them.
it.
I am self-critical. I am not self-compassionate. I'm working on both of these things. So I'm sure, like, I'm talking to myself this way. And actually, I do want to do a show on how you talk to yourself. I
Yes.
thought about that this morning. But so you're not going to get affirmation from me unless I try really. It's on my list.
I mean,
today.
when you do get
My
it,
list.
you're like, yes.
My
You
list for
know
today.
It's,
It's
rare.
number 2. I have to express gratitude today. It's on my
He
power list.
leaves
for
a
the
note,
day.
but
Yep.
You need a word of affirmation assistant that just goes around. Adam thinks you're doing a great job.
I literally hired that person.
Yes.
I literally hired
Did
that
you?
person who cares about people's feelings.
Yes.
Because I know
but
my
from your
weaknesses.
perspective,
Yes.
like Adam would like to say he thinks you're doing a great job, but you don't say a word.
Can
to
I
that.
get like AI to do that or
I
something?
was just going to say that.
Hey Siri, tell this
I
person
think-
they're doing great.
So
today.
yeah, words of affirmation, not my thing. But anyway, so you asked about how you reward employees without making them feel entitled, and this is it: is you have to understand what makes them tick, and it's different for everybody.
Yep.
I'll never forget. There was an episode of The Apprentice where they brought these young hotshots in to have them run teams, and this idiot kid, I think they were inventing like a new shape of Pepsi bottle or something. And these are all rock star business owner MBAs, whatever, and they're sitting in this room working, and they put this guy in charge to test him out. He ended up getting fired, but he did not order pizza. They're working late into the night. He did not order pizza, but he comes in and he goes, "Hey, if you get this done by 10 p.m., I'll give you each an extra $100." It's like, hey, idiot, they're hungry and grumpy because they're hungry. Like, you have to understand. Everybody wants to be motivated by money, but not all the time and not
Right.
for everybody. So
Yeah.
sometimes it's words of affirmation. And this one bothers me because someone said this to me the other day. Hey, I did this thing you asked me to do and you didn't say thank you. And I'm like, yo, I signed your paycheck
Yeah.
and you didn't say thank you. Like, but that's me being not willing to listen to what they really need. And I get that the relationship is we're not on a level playing field, and I should show more. So sometimes it's words of affirmation. Sometimes it is money. Sometimes it's just a change in title, like that, or an actual promotion. But that change can make a huge difference to somebody and give them a big confidence boost. What else am I missing here, Ashley? Like, what are the other things? How about, I got a good one. This is so weird. We give, to rewards things, sometimes I do give out gift cards, right? If
Yes.
somebody does something well, or if we get a 5-star review, like I will give a gift card to the employee who helped us earn that. I can't tell you how much money that has saved me because I used to hand out cash, and it turns out the gift cards are actually more motivating. So
Interesting.
if you
Yeah.
do something, this is $1 million advice to anybody out there. If you're growing a team, if you give someone $100 bill as a reward, good job. Here you go, $100, Christmas bonus, happy birthday, great job taking care of that customer, whatever. They feel an obligation to spend that money responsibly. They should put it in the bank. They should use it to pay their bills. You hand them a gift card to name your establishment, preferably someplace local. It's not real money. Like they can go and splurge, and they're really motivated by that. So if you gave someone the option, they're going to choose the $100 bill. But it turns out, and there's been studies on this, if you hand them a $20 or $50 gift card, which costs you less money as the business owner, it's actually more motivating and viewed as a higher reward to your employees.
Wow.
That's wild. Yeah, but that's only something that you can learn from experience
I
or
think
from listening
not-
to the Maverick Mindset
Right.
radio show.
And I think not doing it all the time. Like, Adam's thing is not words of affirmation or whatever, but like, you never know when it's going to be something that you're going to get a gift card for. You never, it can be random. Like, you're saying that you don't even know, like, you're doing your job, you're doing the things, and it's when like you're least expecting it. Like he hits you with it and you're like, what? Like, thank you. Like, and it's in those moments, like, don't let employees begin to expect that because, I mean,
unless that's part of your relationship with them. If you want to earn commission or if you want to be rewarded, I will guarantee, rewards for you if you do the things and achieve the things. That can't, but you have to have that conversation with the employees. And I think that's the biggest thing, is learning what really makes them tick, because it's going to be different for everybody. There's other people that we say, hey, why don't you just leave at 3:00 on Friday? It's weather's nice, your kids are getting out of school, like go spend a couple hours hanging out with them. And that can be more meaningful than, an extra $1,000 in their paycheck to some people. But it really depends. So I'm glad we kind of ended that on a more positive note than we started it. So the sign of the downfall of society was a lady trying to buy a stuffed animal for my daughter. But that's just a sign we're reversing it with the knowledge that we're dropping.
Right.
When we're blowing minds every Wednesday at 9, going live at 9:05. I just came up with that one this morning. That was Joel's gonna. We may not have a fourth episode. That may have been it.
That was it, folks.
All right, so let's get into the quote of the day. Today's quote of the day is brought to you by Rust Belt Business Law. Rust Belt Business Law exists to help business owners with the issues that keep them up at night. All right, Ashley.
Okay.
Hit us.
So the quote is to constantly seek out opportunities to upgrade. No one is truly indispensable. And we chose this one because of our topic today. And it's always, I liked it because it was that look for the opportunities, make yourself valuable in trying to find what it is that you can do that helps. Don't wait for them just to be offered to you either. Have the mindset of, I need to truly know, like, what can I do to make myself better, to help the company, to help my employer. And I think the moment that you stop doing that you stop looking for those opportunities on your own, not just things given to you, but you stop trying to be the best in all aspects of your career, then you've already hit your limit. You've already made yourself dispensable.
For me, this quote was really two separate thoughts.
Yeah.
No one is indispensable is one independent thought. And that's true for employees, that's true for businesses, right? Amazon loses money on selling things on the internet. They make money from their computer services, right? Their web services. So it's not a sustainable business model selling stuff through Amazon. I remember my dad telling me before Kmart went out of business that Kmart could go out of business and Sears could go out of business, and all these the biggest companies in the world that you thought would last forever, unless they grow and change and adapt, they're going to go under. What I liked about this quote was constantly seek out opportunities to upgrade. And I took a completely different approach to this. I did not take, well, maybe I did. I took a little different self-improvement approach to this. And I was thinking about upgrading material things in your environment. Because I think that actually forces you to upgrade the way that you think about stuff. So for example, I own two pair of custom denim jeans that I got from Lewis, right? Yep. And high-end jeans became a thing during my adulthood, but custom tailored jeans where I can pick, what did I get to? I got to pick the color of the denim, the thread, the buttons that go on it, the cut, the fit, the style, whatever. And that was a major upgrade that I felt pretty good about. So I was thinking about that one, or we
remember
always,
when I went on vacation and I don't know if I messaged you and Jackie or came back and I'm like, I bought the cashmere pantsuit. Remember, it was super expensive, and I'm like, Adam's always like, just buy it and see what it, you have to wear the things to know that you deserve the things, and everything else. So I bought. I was so excited.
All right, seeking out ways to upgrade. Okay, so action items. Let's go through this. That's your name next to that.
Oh, that's me. I'm like, why are we pausing?
No gift card for Ashley today.
Failed that one. Let's talk about the action items. We are only here once per week, and that gives our listeners time to go out and implement. So today's action items are brought to you by Pennywise Tax Strategies. Business owners, take a proactive approach to your taxes and take action now to reduce your tax bill next year. And learn more at pennywise.tax. All right, Adam.
All right, I'm keeping it easy this week. One action item. If you've got employees, just check in on them.
Yeah.
Have the conversation. Remind them that you want to be on the same team as them, so that when you win and the business wins, they win. they may not want to share in the losses, but have that conversation. That's really the action item for today is go and talk to your team. If you don't have a team, if you don't have employees, if you have contractors, if you've got vendors, whoever, go out and have the conversation to make sure that you're on the same team with these people. So don't forget, tonight, Primo Tailoring.
Yes.
Check it out on Eventbrite, how to make your first $100,000. We will be back next week, 9 a.m., Maverick Mindset Radio. We may actually be in a third place on the internet by next week, but for now, Maverick Mindset Radio.
Look at us growing.
.com. Upgrading.
Upgrading.